So something fun you can do with the new movie Oppenheimer is, because it's based on real history, you can actually combine it with other scientist true story movies and marathon them like a shared universe. So if you want to do that, here's the walkthrough. We're going to start off with Einstein and Eddington, which takes us to Cambridge for the personal and academic lives of physicists Stanley Eddington and Albert Einstein during the dramas of World War I. Then we can skip a few decades for the Imitation Game, as World War I has led into World War II, and mathematician Alan Turing is hard at work cracking German codes. Next we have the weirdly fascinating movie Copenhagen, which entirely centers around one fateful meeting between famed scientist Niels Bohr and his former student Werner Heisenberg, who is, to his disapproval, helping the Germans build their atomic weapon. Then we have The Catcher Was a Spy, which tells the bizarre true story of how the US government hired former baseball player Mo Berg to spy on and, if needed, eliminate that same Werner Heisenberg working for the Germans. Then we have Infinity, which takes us to Princeton for the love story between physicist Richard Feynman and his wife Arlene. And the movie ultimately shows him joining the Manhattan Project, which leads us directly into Oppenheimer. And at this point, a lot of things connect. We catch up with Feynman again as Oppie recruits him. Einstein is back decades later as an older mentor figure, and also back is Niels Bohr, who tells Oppie about his meeting with Heisenberg, which is the same pivotal meeting we just saw in Copenhagen. And the movie ends with meeting President Truman, which I mentioned because next is the movie Truman, covering the president's life story and maybe explaining why he was so rough with Oppenheimer. Skipping ahead a bit, we then have the Challenger disaster about the infamous shuttle explosion, and this might sound unconnected at first until you meet the protagonist, who is again our buddy Richard Feynman, now decades after World War II. Then I'm going to throw in the theory of everything about Stephen Hawking, which is a bit different, but it takes us back to Cambridge, and I think it fits the genre. And that's how 9 completely different movies can take you on a dramatic ride through real science history. Have you watched them all? What's your favorite? Let me know in the comments.